my name is Clayton Winters. I was born and raised here in Kansas City, and I'm now a professional theater artist living and working based out of New York City. And it is my pleasure to come back and interview really the woman who launched me into my future, and to help you get to know her and what she's doing today. Judy Jones.
Hey, I love it.
Hey, Mama Jones. I'm blessed because of your service, and I'm blessed because of all that you've committed to. Now, I'm no spring chicken, but I started in theater with you when I was 8 years old.
Yeah, that's right.
I was a wild kid. I was hyperactive. I had way too many ideas, too many things to say, and I know there was a distinct moment when the faculty of my grade school en masse grabbed my mother and said, "You need to find something to do with this kid. He's got way too much energy. He's disrupting class." And what my mother decided to do was send me to you.
That's right.
And I did my first play with you when I was 8, and now I'm in my 40s. I'm a professional theater artist. I'm a husband. I'm a father, and I've just committed my life to storytelling and music and changing lives through theater, and I can thank you for that.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome, and what a gift it is to me personally, as we have established that we teach, we inspire, and then we connect young people and people to their future. And so the gift of your life, really is wonderful in my heart, but it also looks great on our resume, okay? As Kansas Academy of Theatrical Arts has grown, we've had the privilege of serving all different levels of educated children and all different levels of special needs children, from the geniuses to those who don't feel as that smart.
Absolutely.
Theater has given them a life and a community.
Who are you? Introduce yourself.
I am Judith A. Jones, now deemed Mama Jones, which is an amazingly wonderful title for me, but because there's a mama in the house needed. And I am from New York City. I grew up on the streets of New York. When I was 12 years old, I was the leader of an all-boys gang. And my mom was told by the police department, literally, you need to get her off the streets or we'll get her off the streets. And so that's what my mom did. She got me off the streets, and she put me in a youth theater company at that time that was doing, they were doing off-Broadway shows. And I have no idea what that was about, but I was so involved in myself and I was so wrapped up in me and in performing in any way I could that my mom said, this is going to be good for you. And so I was in that youth theater, and that literally took me off the streets because all I could do was go to school, go to rehearsal, and then be inspired by these people. That theater company, that was called the Next Stage Theater Company, turned into Children's Television Workshop.
Wow.
And so that too launched me into the next part of my life. I went to Music and Art High School in New York City and played violin all through high school. And then I went to City College. But the wonderful thing about City College was that it also gave me a degree in theater. From there, I went into the Marine Corps. And the Marine Corps gave me opportunity for self-discipline. I became the one of 11 Black female officers in the Marine Corps, which again launched me into being the disciplined person that I needed to be to go forward. When I was in the Marine Corps, they stationed me right here in Kansas City as part of the recruiting effort. And when I got here, and I really, really had to change my life, change my perspective, and God did that for me. And as I moved into the area of my life where I had a different perspective on who I was, that I really was a good person, I had just made bad decisions, I decided that, yes, I want to go back into the school district, back into a school system, and do for young people what theater had done for me. And that I would make it a part of my life and make it the main focus of my life to change lives through acting. If you're going to act out, let's act out on stage. And that's what happened, because even in the Marine Corps, I acted out in the Marine Corps. And what did they do? They made me head of the choir, you know? I acted out everywhere. And so I knew that this was a solution.
Yeah.
And that is what I do today. I started Kansas Academy of Theatrical Arts in 1990. We incorporated. And when I started that, that's when I met you and your mom. And I had my son and you and all of these students who nobody other summers would take. Nobody, even the sports program wouldn't take you guys. And so, and I was like, somebody got to take my kid. So I started the theater, and I started it in Turner, and it was Turner Summer Theater. And the first summer we had 13 kids. The next summer we had 26 kids. And I had someone ask me, well, how do you expect this to grow? I said, well, it will grow with all different kinds of kids. And they had the nerve to say, well, good luck. I'm like, good luck? No, there are a lot of young people out there that need theater. And that's what really, somebody tell me I can't. Emma Forward, right?
Right.
And so I so appreciated the support that I did get from parents, like your mom, who said, this is important. It's important for my child. We want to do it. And that's what has catapulted me all of these years, every summer. Yeah. Every summer we had summer theater. And we basically were mainly a summer theater program. Mm-hmm. And then our students started to grow. Mm-hmm. And we started to go into high school. And so we started getting mentors from places like the Culture House studio, and other businesses would come in and say, okay, we'll take these kids. Yeah. We'll take this individual and mentor them. We'll take this individual and give them master classes. And so the community started taking these individuals and giving them what they needed to go into the next step. Right now, we are still picking up a lot of the pieces from COVID. Yeah. And because when they shut down, sports kept going, but they shut down all the theaters. Mm. Sports kept going in schools, but they shut down the theaters. And so we're really picking up the pieces from COVID. And we had a Curtains Up campaign that started with our performance of The Wiz in Washington High School. And that performance then helped us become more visible again, so that the community would know that we hadn't disappeared because it was shut down. And with the mayor's declaration of the Wiz Week in Wyandotte County, it really gave us then a new eye and fresh eye. They hired me at Washington High School to begin again their theater department. Wow. And that had been shut down for 10 years. Wow. And so I went in and I got amazing and still have amazing support there. We did a musical. That was a musical review of all of the songs the kids liked. The community loved it. The teachers showed up and were surprised that the parents were there. The parents showed up and were surprised that the teachers were there. The administration showed up and surprised that anybody was there. Right. And because of that kind of support, now I have young people in class who have grown in these past 2-3 years out of our leadership program to move on
Yeah.
So we're going to do summer theater again this year.
Awesome.
We did, last year we did like 2-a-days. We had summer theater during the day and the Wiz at night. And so this summer we're just going to really expand our youth summer theater. And the leaders of that summer theater right now are the students that I've had for the past 2 years.
That's great.
And that's what we're doing now.
So this is really more than just getting some people together and putting on a skit. It sounds like you're working with students who don't have avenues for community in other places. And not only are you bringing them along and mentoring them, you're also creating leadership opportunities and really equipping your students and your company members to find a place of maturity, like in their community.
Exactly. And the key to launching youth into their future is giving them the people skills that only theater can teach. There are lots of people skills that it only exist in this kind of environment, And those people skills not only are on stage, but backstage. And so when I went into Washington High School, I teach not only an acting class, but a technical theater class.
Absolutely.
That then, this class is a job skill class.
Absolutely.
All the way around.
And this is something that isn't generally known by people who are not deeply invested in the theater community, is that both what happens on stage and what happens behind stage is highly technical.
It's a job skills industry, and it's more technical now than it has ever been.
Absolutely.
I start with my actors and I say, how many of you want a job when you leave here? They raise their hand. And I say, every job that you go to, when you are in the interview, curtain.
That's right.
Whether it's curtain or camera, you have to have a job interview. You have to have presentation skills. Every job has some kind of hands-on. And the students in my technical theater class are now learning to transfer their math skills to the technical theater. And they say, this is math. I said, it's geometry, it's physics, it's all of those things. And they are now doing that transfer.
That's awesome.
That's what theater is all about.
That is awesome. I want to move our conversation forward a little bit. And there's some things that I know I'm going to ask you a very simple question. I know you're going to have a lot to say. One of the things I want to know is, how would you describe your passion, the thing that drives you to do all of this?
My passion is that young people have extended time, that longevity will count for them.
Yeah.
That they know that what I'm doing right now extends into the future. And that's my passion. I want them to know that the future is a blink away from them. And that I'm planting in them a self-discipline and a skill for knowing life and people and processes that will take them into their future. That's my passion. I tell all of my staff that as we do shows, it's not about the product, it's about the process. And whatever is a part of that process, whether we have to give unconditional love, whether we have to give second chances, whether we have to teach it again, whether we have to wait while they get it. It's more a part of the process than it is the product. Because you see, once we produce that process in people, they've got it.
Yeah.
We don't have to fish for them to make them eat anymore. They can be the fishers, okay? Yeah. Fisher people. And so my passion is longevity counts. And I want everyone that I work with to know that I'm focused on their process.
Now, you've mentioned it, it's the process and how that process affects the people. Right now, who are the people that you're serving with KATA?
We are serving mainly high school students. We this summer will get back to our younger students, our elementary students, because we're starting this summer with kids going into third grade, and that was our passion before. That was our main focus before. But we're working mainly with these high school young people who have been with us now a couple of 3 years, and they're excited. That's who we're working with. And we're working with these young people inside of their community, knowing that their community counts and that inside of our community we can have theater that is a theater of excellence, that is a theater that has a drawing point, And it just so happens in Wyandotte County now, that's what the whole county is about, producing things here in our community that will draw others.
So as artists, we are often responding to something we seek. Something beautiful strikes us, or something difficult strikes us, and then we respond with story, with song, with craft. Similarly, as an educator, we can do the same thing. What problems are you responding to in your community with what you're doing with Kansas Academy of Theatrical Arts?
Our biggest challenge has to do with access. It has to do with mobility.
Yeah.
And it has to do with mindset.
Yeah.
And access two ways.
Yeah.
Access two ways. In other words, my students' ability to get to theater in other parts of our community is challenging for them.
Yeah.
And then their mindset of, well, am I valuable enough to even go there? When I was younger in New York City, there were places in New York City that I could let go. There were places in New York City that my mom told me it was safe not to go. But then there were places in my mind that I didn't feel worthy to go. And so what I'm planting in these students, and to get them to change their mindset, that they are valuable enough to go and see these and have these opportunities in theater and in dance and in all of these places, and help them change their mindset.
Absolutely.
That, hey, I can do that. And so theater for my students needs to be that which gives them a new, what they call a new mind, a fresh mind on who they are, what they have to offer, and what they can receive in order to launch them into their future.
We've covered a lot, and I really just have one more thing I'd like to ask you, and you can give this in a list or in descriptions, however it suits. But you do a lot with Kansas Academy of Theatrical Arts. What are all the things that you offer?
The very first offering we have is the community of summer camps, the community of working with young people during the school year to tell them from mentors and from our staff that they have opportunities for scholarships to college. And so we literally work with parents and students on scholarships, on learning how to navigate various different college interviews. The other thing we have is the ability to help students with simple things like backpacks and things that they need for their personal education. Masterclass presentations are from people like you who come into our classroom and come into our leadership gatherings and talk about who they are and what they do and how theater has launched them into their future. And that always gives our kids hope. And that helps them move forward, that gives them this emotional mobility that they need. And so I'm bringing them into the classroom, producing gatherings of our young leaders and having people like you come in. We have hired students right out of high school. We are, of course, we hired students. We give them a gift card when they're in leadership positions during the summer, so that we kind of, give them this incentive to keep working for us. And I always want to beat the market when it comes to paying people, because I want them to know that this is and can be a profession. But I also want them to know that it's important to build a reputation. And that's what a resume is, building a solid reputation in the arts and in who you are as an artist. And so we do that. And we not only do that, but we help them see themselves through their resume, so that they can say, oh, yes, that is me. That is what I do. And because I do that and I've been paid for it, I'm worth it.
Yeah, you're speaking directly to that problem of a mindset of value.
Exactly.
If you literally invest, monetarily invest in someone, they can now recognize themselves as having market value.
Absolutely. And that the market is so, and for them, they really don't understand what market is. But when I begin to show them, this is the market, this is how the arts pay, and I work with parents to show them that, in fact, theater is a job skill, and that all of the things that they're learning and that we're paying them for, we're paying them for this because we know it can launch them into a job skill. And we know that the skills that they're learning here and we're paying them for, they can be paid for elsewhere. And that for our community is important, that they can see that it is the same work ethic, emotionally and mentally.
Absolutely.
It just happens to be in a field that fits the wonderful differences of their students.